to my studio. We're going to be working on snowflake cookies, and these are not edible, and that was my biggest complaint with these, is they look so real that everybody wanted to eat them. But aren't these really pretty? So we're going to show you how to make these today. The first thing we're going to do is get our Quikwood. And if you've never worked with a Quikwood, I have some really step-by-step videos explaining all about Quikwood. We're going to get our piece of wax paper to work with the Quikwood on. And we're going to spray our hands with vegetable spray. And I'm going to tell you to take your jewelry off first, because it does get stuck in your jewelry. If you can't get your jewelry off, put a piece of tape around it. And just take your wax paper and spread your vegetable spray across it. And we're going to get a piece of Quikwood. And I'm going to use a smaller shape today. If you use a large snowflake, you have all of these extra areas that you don't use of the Quikwood when you roll it out, but then it makes it easier to add on to the next piece to create your next snowflake. So that first one, it does take quite a bit of Quikwood, unless you have a smaller snowflake that doesn't quite come out as far on the arms. But I'm going to do a star here this afternoon, and I don't think I need all of this. I'm trying to debate. Maybe I'll go ahead and just do it all. And when we work with the Quikwood, we need it together, and that's what activates the Quikwood. So we're going to put it all together here. And knead it until your marbleizing all becomes one color. And then we're going to roll it into a ball. Make sure you knead it though, because if you don't knead that, it is not going to get hard on you. We're going to fold our wax paper in the middle, leave enough room that it can spread out. We're going to push it out first. That makes it easier to roll it. And then we're going to roll it out here. And then I am going to spray that with vegetable spray, making it easier to cut. And then we're going to put that on there, get your cut in real good. And then because you have 20 minutes workable time with this, you can save this for your next star or your next one if you're doing a couple at a time. If not, some of the other videos I showed you what to do with your leftover Quikwood. Now we're going to put a hole in this so that we have a big enough hole to put the hanger through when it dries. At this point in time, we would just let it dry before we start to decorate it. And once it is hard, we're going to come in and we're going to use a little bit of paint to sponge the back area and make it look like a cookie. So if you have it, it looks baked. So we're going to take a little bit of darker brown. I'm going to take my sponge and I am going to get into that color, and we are going to sponge our cookie. So it looks like it's been baked. You can do more on the edges if you want. We're just going to sponge that all of the way around, and you'll let that dry. You can do the other side if you want, but you're going to end up decorating it anyway, so it's not going to show. So we're going to show you what we use for the frosting, and we actually use silicone, and I've got my silicone gun here to get it out. And I went to Walmart and I picked up the cheapest silicone, and it was between $2.50 to $3. And that's what we're actually going to make our frosting with. And as you can see, it really, really stays. I had made these last year and I had a different thing that I was trying and I didn't like it. It would flatten out. So we're actually going to put the caulking into a bowl to frost our cookie with. And then we're also going to make some color as well. And on my first cookies, I started out with a white base. So this next one, I'm going to start with a blue base. And then we'll put white on top. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. And I don't even use the gun when I'm working at home. I get something to push it in a little bit. And then just take a plastic bag and rubber band and seal the top off, and that stays till you're ready to use it again next time. And I'm just going to set that with a bowl and let that kind of fill because we're going to need our next color anyway. This is a little bit messier project than we're a little bit used to working with here. And I'm going to grab a napkin, put that down here. A fun thing about this is you can see how messy it really can be. Now this little guy, I'm going to decorate him. I landed him upside down on the floor before I got him decorated all the way, or dried all the way, excuse me. So we're going to make our blue food coloring first. And you don't need a lot. In fact, this is probably way too much for this cookie. Maybe we'll go ahead and decorate that other one, but we're going to take a little bit of blue out of our food coloring. And we're going to dye what it looks like our frosting. And the silicone works really well. It has a texture that is very, very similar to frosting. I really like working with it. Now I'm not going to do them as blue as I did the first time. I thought that was a little bit too blue. So we've got that all done up here. So we're going to come back in with our knife. And I forgot the knife. So I'm going to have my husband pause and we'll edit this back in, and I'm going to go grab a knife. Okay, we've returned with the proper tools, so I've got my knife, and we're going to spread it just like you would frosting, just like you were frosting cupcakes. And I don't try to make it perfect. I try to have it look homemade. And just keep that. And don't put your cording on till afterwards, and we'll poke a hole through it and then put our cording on so you don't get this mess. And that's kind of nice about leaving the videos this way, is because you can see what not to do. We try not to edit them too much so you feel like you're just sitting there talking with us. Now if you want it a little bit smoother, make it a little bit smoother. If you don't, just leave it just like that. And we have our little guy, and I'm going to pick up the edges so he doesn't have anything hanging off the edges. Set our knife down right there, and this time you can add some glitter, and I'm going to add a little bit of white glitter to this guy. Alright, now we're going to decorate him with white. And I have this guy sitting over here, so we're going to use it first. But you can go straight out of the caulking gun into your cake decorating bag and use a disposable bag, so when you're done, you can just throw this away. You don't want to have to worry about washing it or anything because it is silicone. And so I'm just going to put a little bit more in there. I don't want a whole bunch. And less is probably better in this situation because you can always go back and put more in it. And I'm just doing the straight white, so I already have my holder, the tip holder in there. So I pulled that back so that this is down. I don't have to squish it down as far. And I'm going to start out with the star tube first. We're going to put that on. These would be really cute to decorate packages and everything else as well. So we're going to put a star in the middle first, and then I'm going to put stars on each of the corners. Alright, now I'm going to take some centers here while that's still nice and fresh, and no, he's too big. Play with him, see what kind of centers you may want. You guys know I use the brads a lot. I like the, especially these brads with the silver around the outside. It just kind of decorates it up. But there's a bunch of things that you can use as well. And I'm also going to use the silver dots too in this. This is the dots that you see in the cookie. So we're going to just put that right on the top there and just squish it in. Now I do not varnish these because this is wet, and there's really nothing except for the glitter to hold on a little bit. You could kind of tape over that if you wanted to varnish around it. That would be fine if you want to do a little bit of that. Now I'm going to empty this tube out. If you're done with this tip, take this tip and squirt your frosting into the next tip so you don't have that to empty later. And you want to empty that in your trash. You don't ever want to put that down your sink because it is silicone. So we're going to put little snowflake ends on these now. And we're just going to come over and make it a snowflake. And there's all kinds of ways you can decorate these. You that have done cake decorating and make all the fancy stuff, I'm sure you'll just go wild with this and do your own thing. Don't try to be too perfect. You want them to look homemade. But see how the star can even have a snowflake shape, which is cool. So there, we've got that little guy. You could come back in and put some of the silver dots around if you wanted to. I usually put them into the frosting part that's a little bit thicker, a little bit dot or something there, but we're just going to stick these kind of in the side. I think there's enough frosting to hold them there, but those really just add so much to it. And you can also use the tweezers to help you do that if you need to as well. Okay, so we've got that little guy decorated. Now when you're done decorating them, make sure while they're drying that you poke that hole through, and you don't want to have like your silver dot sitting on top of that hole. You want to keep that hole open. And we're going to come in with our cording, cut a long enough piece, and we're going to just push it through the hole. This guy seems a little bit smaller, so I'm going to just run one through, and we'll show you what we're going to do to make him hang straight. We're going to tie him here, because otherwise he's going to hang sideways if you only run one string through. We're going to tie him there, and then we're going to tie him up here again. So there's all kinds of fun ways you can decorate these and just make them your own. Don't mess with them until they're completely dry to the touch, and then you will have your own frosted ornaments ready to give as presents or hang on your tree. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about this project, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. For Quikwood or any of the other products, the silver dots, you can go to my webpage at miriamjoy.com. There's also a YouTube link will take you to more fun YouTube videos that you can watch, as well as a Facebook link. And I try to post a gourd up there every day to inspire you. And just have a Merry Christmas and God bless.